It's now easier than ever to stay connected with David G. Evans and the Bethany Baptist Church family. Follow the ministry and rejoice in all that God is doing by following us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. On Facebook, you'll be up to date on the latest happenings. You can watch our Sunday services on Facebook Live, 8 and 11 a.m. Eastern.
Here comes the power. Hallelujah!
Words of wisdom and encouragement can be found on Twitter, and you'll get up to the minute sermon points as they happen in our weekly worship services. Follow us on Instagram and be blessed by the inspirational and special moments that are highlighted each week, and meet the people who are the heart of our ministry. And if it's video you want, subscribe to the Bethany Baptist Church channel on YouTube. It's now easier than ever to stay connected with David G. Evans and the Bethany Baptist Church family. Follow the ministry and rejoice in all that God is doing by following us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. On Facebook, you'll be up to date on the latest happenings. You can watch our Sunday services on Facebook Live, 8 and 11 a.m. Eastern.
Here comes the power. Hallelujah!
Words of wisdom and encouragement can be found on Twitter, and you'll get up to the minute sermon points as they happen in our weekly worship services. Follow us on Instagram and be blessed by the inspirational and special moments that are highlighted each week, and meet the people who are the heart of our ministry. And if it's video you want, subscribe to the Bethany Baptist Church channel on YouTube. See the celebrations, the special events, and the many, many people who are helping to transform lives one at a time. Stay connected with David G. Evans on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, and become a member of our broadcast family today.
Adversaries come in many forms, but you will be victorious when you realize that worship is warfare.
Adversaries are necessary because without them, you never really discover your purpose.
We've accepted what somebody told us we were in our past. So our past is sabotaging our ability to hear instruction.
We are not much unlike a battery. The negative is the thing that's needed to produce the power.
I empowered you to overcome everything you've overcome up to this present moment. I fixed you for what's going to happen after this.
You were in the mind of God long before you were ever born.
You are not alone in your battle. God has your back because worship is warfare. Put these 4 messages in your arsenal today on CD or DVD. Equip yourself by visiting our website or by calling 1-800-591-8480.
What if you could make one decision to unleash everything great in your life? Would you do it? Would you say yes? Aren't you tired of your relationships, your health, and so much more suffering because you lack the truth you need to change? The life you desire is within your reach. You can achieve all the success, happiness, and prosperity you deserve by simply learning the secrets that lead to real personal transformation. Change is hard, but not impossible. You just have to make one radical decision to get real. And there's no better authority on the real steps to change than David G. Evans.
Some men trust in chariots. Some men trust in horses. But we will trust in the Lord.
David G. Evans is leading the charge to bring you the power to change your life. He is committed to the mission of helping you transform and become a person of power, and it starts with his all-new system to change your situation. At the centerpiece of this life-altering collection is David Evans' groundbreaking training course. From ridiculous to radical to real, this means war. In this series, you will discover the steps to change. This series includes 2 powerful messages, each on winning the battle in your mind and cultivating a language of faith. That's 4 messages, 4 power-filled hours of material. If you want a better marriage, this series has the answers. If you want to achieve financial independence God's way, the secrets in this series will empower you to make it happen. If you want a life of power, anointing, and influence, this series will show you how to get it, and there's more. You're looking for serious, immediate results. So Bishop Evans will also include one of his best-selling messages called Weapon of Warfare. This classic teaching will build you up to start fighting in the spirit for what you deserve. This powerhouse collection, from ridiculous to radical to real and weapon of warfare, will give you all the biblical strategies you need to change anything in your life. This collection will ship to you immediately with your gift today to David G. Evans Ministries. This ministry is revolutionizing the kingdom by empowering believers. Souls are being saved daily, and we need your help to grow this impact in a real way. Call now and sow your seed of just $35 for your transformation to help people around the world. Your $35 love gift goes straight to the front lines of ministry, providing help to those that need it most. Call now. Make the decision to get the power you need to change your life forever.
Praise the Lord, everybody. Welcome to On Point, the #1 Saturday morning Christian-based call-in talk show in America, live every Saturday morning on any smart device at David G. Evans 1. Our call-in number is 1-866-743-8267, 1-866-743-8267, 1-866-74-EVANS. You can give us a call. Of course, my world-famous co-host, Reverend Nicholas Smith, is here. I'm Bishop David G. Evans, and welcome to another hour of stimulating, politically, socially, culturally relevant conversation, always from a kingdom, a biblical perspective. So glad you joined us today. Please inbox somebody, communicate with them the best way you know how. Tell them to jump on at OnPointe at David G. Evans 1. We're looking forward to talking with you today. We were just talking off camera about how strong the power of suggestion is and how foolish people can become. One of our team members brought up the latest controversy, which is this whole thing about disinfectants and how it appears as though, I watched it myself, the president was suggesting that disinfectant, internalizing that, could be effective, and that the medical people on his staff were looking into those possibilities. Of course, all the responsible companies in the country that make disinfectant had to come out with some statement telling people, please don't do that. But of course, there have been some people that have tried it already, and with the appropriate consequences, the expected consequences for ingesting something like disinfectant into your body. Some people would say, well, he didn't say it outright, and this is what I know about this political climate that we're in. A lot of things that our president has suggested, violence at rallies, people took it to heart.
Yep.
And followed through on, though you can criticize him all you want, but they took it to heart because he said it. Some people did some very bad things because they thought he was going to send legal help to them because he said in a rally, I'll pay for the lawyers. Mm-hmm. And they took that to mean that I can go out and do whatever I want to do and he'll pay for it. But it didn't happen that way. But it helped me remember, Pastor Nick, when Ms. Conway said that you could not take him literally when he said some things, mm-hmm. when he said things, mm-hmm. which I find to be confusing, because if my president speaks, if there's anybody in the world I want to take at his or her word, it is my president.
Absolutely.
But to say, yeah, he said it, but you can't put any seriousness to it is just ridiculous.
Absolutely.
And you don't, most people don't repeat stuff 10, 12 times that they don't mean, mm-hmm. unless something is going on in their head at the moment. So I don't, we try to be as balanced as possible, but a suggestion from the President of the United States causes actions mm-hmm. in other people, culturally, politically, socially, relationally. When he says it, it happens. Mm-hmm. We were talking about the fact that when we were amazed at what people will do. It doesn't make any sense. I remember when I was at boarding school, we had to bring the hay and the straw in every year. And of course, you put the hay ends up in the silo that you don't put in the barn to sell or for the animals to eat. And the process of fermentation produces a quote unquote liquor. And the guys would go down, some of the guys would go down and at night open up the drain and get this elixir and drink it, and it would get them high, but they'd be sick for 5 days.
Yeah. And they do it
but
again.
then they go back and do it again.
Yeah, man, good times.
You know,
It's
just amazing to me.
like sniffing glue. And
Yeah, all that
that
crazy
stuff,
nonsense, just that people would do.
Some things are just common sense. So I got a humidifier at home.
Sense not common.
That's true. I got a humidifier at home. On the bottom of it, where you pour the water in, it says don't pour oil in there. I'm like, who was dumb enough to pour oil?
You'd be amazed.
And I'm like, you'd be amazed who would.
Some people would pour Senate oil in there because they wanted to, fill their house with an aroma.
But it's like, I don't know. Like, don't drink bleach. On the thing it says, do not drink this.
Yeah.
Something that's strong enough to clean viruses. It should be common sense not to drink that.
At the same time, if you're in an area where the water is polluted or tainted, the way you clean that water is a gallon of that dirty water and a cap full of chlorine bleach. But that's chlorinating the water.
Not taking it to the
they're
head.
not recommending that you do that forever, but if you're down to where you can't drink it and you're in a place where that's all the water you have, it's an old army thing.
Yeah.
A cap full of chlorine in a gallon of water.
Called chlorine tablets.
Yeah,
Put it in.
put it in,
Yeah.
and boom.
Now,
And then the chlorine evaporates out.
Yeah, but I'm talking about people taking it to the head. Like getting the bottle and
Yeah,
just going like
that's
that. They're
silly.
saying don't
That's
drink
silly.
that. Like, not that way.
That's just silly.
Yeah. It's like, come on.
And you wait for the chlorine to evaporate, then you drink whatever you got.
Right.
You don't. It's not. Let me take this cap full of chlorine bleach and drink a glass of water behind it. That's not going to work.
But people, they try that stuff. I mean, it just is. I mean, some things just shouldn't have to be said, but obviously they have to be
Well,
said.
yeah. Look, there's warnings on water now.
Right. They just have to be said.
You need a warning on water?
Yeah.
Buy a cup of coffee. They have a warning. Oh,
Come on, man.
Contents are hot. Hello? What do you think it is?
I'd like a cup of hot coffee, please. And then I have to reinforce the fact that
it is hot. Be careful.
Don't pour it on yourself. Has to be on the side of the cup.
Don't put it between your legs.
Look, I get, some things are just information you learn.
Yeah.
But some things should be just naturally aware that,
I get it. A baby might find an electric socket intriguing.
Right.
But an adult,
Right.
let me see what this will do.
And just
I saw a guy stick a fork in a and we're like 17, 18 years old.
Yeah.
And he wanted to see what it would do.
Yeah.
I stood back.
I know that's right.
I knew it wasn't going to kill him, but I knew it was going to convince him.
Yeah.
And so we're all standing around. Yeah, man. These other guys, go ahead, man. I'm like, no, you shouldn't do that. Hey, man, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, man. Go ahead. Nope, you shouldn't do that. I stepped back. Man, lit that boy up.
I'm sure it was. But it's just,
He didn't do that again.
I bet he didn't.
But I did have one guy at school. He thought it was a real heroic thing to shock himself, and thought it was. You guys, he wanted attention so badly.
Yeah.
He would shock himself occasionally in front of everybody.
But that's most of what it is.
Silly.
The thrill, the rush.
Oh man, thrill of rush.
Attention.
Getting
excitement.
knocked completely on your behind by electric shock is okay.
And they'll get up. Man, that was cool, man. Do that again. Just, it's interesting. But he did say that he enjoys. He said he loves the uneducated. He loves them. He appreciates them. That's what he said.
Then if he does love them, he ought. You know what?
That's what he said.
It's the Holy Spirit never lets me down. Do you find that people will debate words and be unconcerned about meanings? A lot of people say they care.
Yeah.
A lot of people say they love. People will call you friend.
Yeah.
But it does not seem to extend past the word into the meaning. So because people say they love you and don't act like they do, care, don't act concerned. How do you get so hung up on debating words that you absolutely ignore the meaning of what you're doing? Because what you do proves what your words mean to you.
Right.
I think a lot of people in a lot of relationships, friendships, spouse or boyfriend and girlfriend, people say they care about you, but their actions don't match up, which means they're more into the words than they are into the meaning of the word.
Right.
And why is that it seems to be so pervasive now that it's troubling to me. I find it a lot in counseling appointments. People say, well, no, I love so-and-so. Well, you're not conducting yourself like you do. Because when you love somebody, you can give without loving, but you can't love without giving. It's impossible. And the actual caring is a seed you're planting. Most people will show you the seed, not plant the seed, because they don't follow up what they say with what they do.
Right. Especially with love, because people reduce love to emotion, how I feel about you.
Yeah.
Which usually what we talked about before is transactional.
Right.
Because it's never about the person per se. It's how I feel
when I'm around you.
Yeah. So it's not really about you.
But shouldn't that feeling produce some action?
It should.
Which confirms in you what I said to you.
Right.
There ought to be some action that allows me to understand, this person really does love me. I'm working on this new series called Feelings.
Okay.
That I want to do like 10-minute installments while we're in this social media thing.
Okay.
And obviously maybe another book will come out of it, but we'll see. But I'm looking at how the Bible presents this emotion and feelings dynamic, and how Christians, particularly, are struggling with a lot of things. Ultimately believing that the medication alone will do it, when God has to deliver you mentally, emotionally, physically from what it is you're struggling with. I do a lot of counseling with a lot of people over the years, and I'm amazed at how many people are in relationships where they have to tiptoe around the other person because the person's mood is unpredictable, and you don't know what you're going to get. And mean one minute, love you the next, say terrible things to you. Oh, I didn't mean it. And what I really found out while I was doing this study, Pastor Nick, is people with these problems say mean stuff to you, trying to draw you to them.
Which is insane.
Absolutely unbelievable.
You're pushing me away, trying to bring me forward.
Yeah, crazy. I'm going to say all this stuff. I'm going to act insane. But what I'm trying to do is really get you to come closer.
I think that goes to the what we learned in premarital counseling, the importance of definitions and meanings. What is love to you?
That's right.
What is a spouse to you?
That's right.
What is care to you?
That's right.
Because if I don't know, I'll care for you the way I want to be cared for.
You need to know what looks like care to me.
Yeah, and so I can learn to meet your care.
And that's actually biblical.
Yeah.
It says, so let a man love his wife, wife reverence her husband. People read that, wow, that's all I got to do. That's all I got to do. No. Respect looks like love to a man, and love looks like respect to a woman. So you say you respect me, watch it, I'm getting into words again. You say you respect me, but you don't treat me like you do. Then I don't feel respected by you. But I believe we may be in a culture now where people are only going to talk about the words, and they don't really expect you to expect them to do what they say.
Well, we're in a me-first society now.
Okay.
More than ever.
Okay.
I mean, people have always been selfish, but a lot of things are geared towards the individual at the expense of the whole.
Right.
So you're
until they need
something. Then all of a sudden we all in this together. When reality was I was trying to do me YOLO.
So there appears to be a lot of narcissism.
Yes.
Which causes people to be both grandiose and selfish at the same time. Me. Like, I know a lot of people that get excited when they're talking about themselves, but are almost absent in a conversation when they're not talking about themselves.
It's like they're thinking of the next thing they have to say.
Yeah, it's.
They're not listening.
But maybe the dilemma is a lot of people when I'm counseling, I find a lot of people listen to respond and not listen to learn.
Absolutely.
And so
Absolutely.
you'll hear people inject statements in a conversation that don't have anything to do with the conversation because they're listening to respond, not listening to learn. And when I'm listening to respond, I get caught up on the second word in a 20-word sentence that you've just said to me.
Context.
Yeah, and so I respond to those 2 words and then wonder why you're confused when I say something that's totally tangential.
Right. That's true. I had somebody almost going back to what you were saying, my old job, this lady just got on my nerves a lot. Oh my God, she got on my nerves. I said, why are you so sarcastic and so, I'm a sarcastic person, so I can take it, but she was overboard.
Okay.
And she said, I only do that to people I love. I said, do me a favor, stop loving me.
That's right.
I said, stop.
That's right.
Because,
That's right.
Me being mean, being cantankerous and all that stuff, stop. Just stop.
I told an audience during a sermon, some people have a real hard way of showing their love. Yeah. And at the same time, the thing we talked about a little earlier, you say caustic stuff to me, and somewhere in the twisted nature of your thinking, you think that's going to draw me closer to you.
Right.
Maybe it's the attention that you get from the negative response. Right. You think that's a positive because all you're looking for is attention, whether it's positive or negative.
Right. And that's so true. There are some people, they'll push a button, and if you watch them closely, they'll have a little smirk on there.
Absolutely.
And their whole thing is, I got them.
Well, and the other thing is, too, when your response is appropriate for what was said to you, they say you're overreacting and you're taking it somewhere.
You're being mean.
Oh, yeah, you're being mean.
Yeah.
But no, you laid it out there. If you're in a court of law, they'd say, no, you open the door to this thing.
Right. Which goes back to the second thing you said.
Absolutely.
About, oh my goodness, it was just right there in my head. I'm too young for this.
As grandma would say, you ain't far enough down the road for that. Let's go to the phone. Good morning, Kevin. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm so wonderful. How are you, Bishop? Good morning, Pastor Nick.
Hi.
We're making it. What's happening up in Cedarville today?
Oh, God. You know what? I haven't been outside, so I don't know what the weather is. But you know what? I couldn't wait to talk to the both of you.
Okay. So glad you called.
Oh, me too. And you know, I love the topic that you were on just before the one that you're on now. And I came in on probably the end of it, but I think it's interesting that you were talking about labels and what we shouldn't do and what we should do, and some things are common sense.
Right.
And I think it's exciting that I think it's parallel to the Word of God. There's so many things that especially Christians should know. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not sin, thou shalt not, you know, but we look at the word and we still do it. I think it's, you know, we can look at that as Christians. Now, somebody that's not a Christian don't understand that. They can read it all day and they'll do exactly what the Bible tells us not to do because they're not in the know, they don't have the knowledge, they don't have the wisdom, and they don't know Christ. However, Christians, we do it all day. So I love the topic that you guys were on because we'll look right at the word, say we love God, and we'll still do the things against the word and against God.
You know what's really...
What do you think about that?
What's really unique about the Bible, and it continues to amaze me, is number one, we know the Bible was designed by God to birth faith because faith comes by hearing. And so the Word of God is designed to birth things in us. And the reason God gave the law, one of the reasons he gave the law, was to create a conscience in people. I'm telling you what's right. This word is going to create a consciousness of God, and this consciousness will go with you. And there are times when you get ready to do something that you remember this commandment, thou shalt not. And it gets to a point where you're not speaking the commandment every time you get into a situation, but you're feeling it now. So the Word of God is designed to create, if I can say it that way, a conscience in the believer, a consciousness of God, a consciousness of what is right, especially when conviction does not mean to hammer you. It means to remind you what's right. And what happens is, a lot of times, I kind of believe that a lot of us don't have the faith we should have in what God says.
Hello?
Is she gone?
Hello?
Oh, there. Okay, I can hear you. Go ahead.
You listening to your radio, girl.
Listen, Cedarville, the connection down here is very challenging.
Okay.
Oh, very challenging. But go ahead.
No, we did it all.
He said it
Oh my God! But anyway, I just think that was interesting. I said I'm gonna dive right into this because I believe that it is parallel. That we do get that way. We know what the word says.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we say we love God all day long, and we look at that word, and it tells us not what not to do, and we do it anyway.
Because we don't have faith in it. We don't have faith in it.
Yes.
If we had faith in it, it would produce it. The word would produce faith, and it would give us faith in what God says.
Right.
We gotta let you go, girl. You Cedarville starting to act up.
I know.
Talk to you.
So
Bye-bye.
much.
Bye-bye. All right, what is that in my head? Our technical expert, Phil.
The day of Pentecost, something coming. The sound of a
Mighty Russian Wind. Is that what's happening?
Oh, that mercy.
Okay. Jonathan, how you doing?
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. Always good to hear your voice. And
how are you
listen to your
feeling? You
comments.
doing okay?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good.
All those you're concerned with and you're assigned to care for, they doing all right?
Doing very well. Yeah.
Okay.
And I've learned a lot of really important things about the immune system, and thinking to come out with a set of supplements like a packet of pills.
Okay.
That will really defeat the virus.
Okay.
There's a lot of things. I mean, 99% of the people can take it and leave it.
Yeah.
There's a 1%. So our immune system is already very good against this virus.
Yeah.
Already, it's that 1%. You know, 3% that have a problem. And if we just ramp them up.
Yeah.
And in that regard, what you were talking about before.
I've always believed that when every condition presents itself worldwide, I've always believed there's a plant, there's a herb, there's something in a field somewhere that will handle this problem.
God has a remedy.
Yeah, and a lot of times the medicines that we have are chemical derivatives of organic things that are sitting in a field somewhere in the thousands, millions.
Right, right.
But,
the natural solution.
Yeah, but you can't license or patent plant. So they have to make some chemical that imitates the effect of it.
Right.
Yep.
In that regard, what I wanted to say was we tend not to listen to people.
Mm-hmm.
We'll listen. We'll kind of hear it, and yeah, but I'm smarter than this guy, and I don't need. I've learned. I had two friends. One was an engineer on a submarine, and my elderly friend Leon that I took care of, that were documented mental not quite exactly right. Okay. Yeah. And they would say things which you could just blow off. Oh, that's crazy. Mm-hmm. But if you really listened, in the bottom was some real brilliance.
That's because it's usually hidden in the confusion of their thoughts. And if you're not a structured listener to people, you'll miss it. But most of the people have a hard time navigating the preamble.
Right.
You know.
Right. Right. And I think that's the situation this week.
Nice try, buddy. No.
Well, no. Let me tell you something.
The preamble's been 3 years.
No. There's but there's there was a doctor who had a patient, a lady, that had sepsis. Mm-hmm. Okay. Her blood was infected. Mm-hmm. He gave her all the strongest antibiotics he had, and she was next to death. Mm-hmm. He said, well, the only thing more I can try is intravenous vitamin C. Okay. Heavy doses of intravenous vitamin C.
Yeah.
He tried it. A day later, she walked out of the hospital.
That's not a disinfectant, though.
That's not a disinfectant.
Well, it did for her.
But it's not a disinfectant.
Okay.
Not like Lysol.
Look, all right, now you've wandered into an area that I have experience with.
Right.
Okay.
And my experience, I attend and have been attending for the last 12 years a doctor who who I've been getting IVs from, vitamin C,
Okay.
Myers-Briggs, those type of things. So
I think I know her.
I know that
Yeah.
works. I know that works.
Okay.
It's right over here in Cherry Hill. People come
Yeah,
from all
okay.
over the
I know
world,
her. Right.
and it's a guy. And it's a guy
Oh,
right over in
okay,
Cherry
okay,
Hill.
okay.
World famous. And I've gone to him for all kinds of things. I used to get bronchitis every time I flew.
Okay.
And I went to him, and he started giving me the IV, what they call them, not injections. Infusions. Started getting these infusions, and I no longer get bronchitis when I fly on planes.
Okay.
You know, the president's talking about stuff that he probably has no experience with. When he talks about the UV lights, at one time 50 years ago, that was the top treatment for infants who had any kind of illness.
Okay.
All right, they would put them under the light. So but
help their vitamin D, I guess.
It would do everything for me, destroy viruses, the whole 9 yards. But the reason that they took the UVI light treatment out of hospitals is because people were getting well.
I believe it.
That's when pharmaceuticals took over. When they took the UV light treatments out, pharmaceuticals dropped in.
Okay.
All right, and that's been our dilemma ever since. So no, there's no. When we talked about it earlier, when you're in combat in a foreign land where the water's polluted, they tell you put a chlorine tablet in, let it evaporate. You've got pure water you can drink without killing you. But that's not what my president was talking about. He was talking about injections to the point that companies had to start putting disclaimers out. Please do not inject our stuff.
Yeah.
You know, so it was not that was a nice try though. I appreciate your support of it.
I know the lady, Dr. Molly Fantasio in the Cherry Hill Clinic.
Okay.
She does similar thing, and she said 99% of her patients are COVID free. They're not getting infected. I don't know if it's correlated or not.
It's immune system. It's those IV treatments work because you can't ingest enough vitamin C to do what an infusion level vitamin C. So you're talking about 25 grams, 50 grams of vitamin C versus 5,000 milligrams.
Right.
You know, so your stomach can't handle that, but your bloodstream can.
Yeah. Well, very good.
All right, man. Talk to you.
Appreciate talking.
Bye-bye. 1-866-743-8267, 1-866-743-8267. This is On Point, the #1 Saturday morning Christian-based call-in talk show in America, live every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. at David G. Evans 1 on any smart device. We're going to Lottie. Hey, Lottie.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
We're doing good. We're doing better now that you've called us. What's your comment today?
Well, my comment is today, in regards.
Turn your radio down in the back so you're not hearing yourself.
Oh, yeah. I was just like, that's really weird.
Yeah.
So. Okay.
Yeah, turn it all the way down.
My question was that I thought I turned it down.
You got to turn it all the way down.
In regards to the president and what he's saying about the bleach.
Yeah.
I was waiting for someone to ask, well, where are these tests being made?
Well, they're not going to test that. They're not going to do that. That was trying to make sense out of something that was really nonsensical. That was a very dangerous suggestion. The leaders. I'm not leading on any level like the president is, but leaders have to be concerned with what they suggest, because people will take a suggestion as somewhat of a command or permission to do a thing. And of course these disinfecting companies came out immediately saying don't do this, because suggestion is strong coming from a leader.
Yep. Yes, it is, and it inclines me to pray, because my first thought was, well, with all this stuff that they say and the reaction really of the scientist that they had sitting there, she was completely uncomfortable. It just made me wonder, like, well, if they're testing, or if because it was said in such a way to where it was suggested, like, I want for you to try this.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, we're looking into that, right? We're looking into that, right? We're looking into that, right?
Yeah.
You should have seen the doctor's face.
But the thing was, you have people that are more concerned about maintaining their position than saying at that moment, well, no, that's not an option. They're not allowed to do that and keep their jobs.
I see. All right. Well.
Because I would expect the doctor to say, well, no, that's not going to work. We're not going to try that one because that, people get hurt.
The doctor was looking like.
So because the doctors didn't contradict him, some people would think, okay, it's okay to do this. And I understand there have been some people already that have tried it in several different ways, several different applications, and they've gotten very, very ill.
Right. Well, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that if they are testing and they are trying things, what are they trying it on? And that was my question: is what are they trying it on? Are there people that they're running these tests on and we don't know about it?
They're not trying it.
He's saying these things. There's no way, in my mind, there's no way that if he's suggesting, is he bringing a light to something, was the question in my mind that actually caused me to pray about it, because I just felt like if there was some form of injustice that was going on, then this is definitely a time for the Lord to move on it, because this is just so ridiculous.
Yeah,
I
think that our bottom line, thankfully, now that I'm thinking about it, is different than God's.
Okay.
That long-suffering quality that God has probably has protected most of us from his judgment and his wrath at one time or another. He's enormously patient with mankind. It's amazing that instead of destroying what he created, he sends Jesus, which is an absolute indication of how long-suffering and merciful and gracious God is. But God does have a limit on things, which is why, we see people rotating out of offices and things like that. And I believe the class has not been passed by everyone that needs to pass out of this particular grade in life, which is why he has not changed the stuff yet. But he's watching, he's observing, and watch this. The Holy Spirit is still limiting the evil that's happening on this earth. And so I don't know what would happen if the Holy Spirit took his hands off.
Right.
But we trust the grace of God and the mercy of God. But also, we talked about, I don't know if you ever get a chance to watch us online or listen to us on YouTube.
All the time.
Okay, but I did this, God allowed me to do this thing on the relevance of the season we're going through and the Passover season in the Bible. And if you haven't had a chance to watch that yet, you would really, really, really see the relevance and what God is trying to do.
I did watch it.
Yeah, something else. It's amazing. And the reason we did that is because I was hearing so many prophets, and they weren't saying the same thing. And when God talks to the Corinthian church, he says, how is it that there's so many different voices representing me? It's not possible. Everybody's got a tongue, everybody's got a psalm, everybody's got this, everybody's got a prophecy, everybody's got an interpretation. So he said, that's not me, that's confusion. So what do we do to avoid confusion? Go back to the Bible and say what he said.
Correct.
That make sense?
It does make sense. It makes perfect sense.
Lottie, I'm so glad you called us.
I am thankful to call in. I don't always have the time.
Stay strong, stay safe, all right?
All right. Thanks so much.
Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
You too.
Bye.
Oops. Danny, we lost you. Call back, man. So Danny from Fort Lauderdale is there. While he's dialing back, do we have time for a break today? This is On Point, the #1 Saturday morning Christian-based call-in talk show in America, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on any smart device at David G. Evans 1. And we will be right back with Danny from Fort Lauderdale as soon as he calls.
Allow God's living waters to wash over you and refresh your soul.
You've been praying for yourself when the answer is in praying for other people. While I'm praying for California, God shows up in my house.
As kingdom people, with the king in us and us being sovereign ground, we are not governed by the laws of this land. but we're governed by the laws of heaven.
He's talking about you going to draw water from the wells of salvation. Where's the well? In you.
If we want to release the water, watch this, we don't have to pray for it to come. Where we are now, we pray for it to be released.
Release deliverance and transformation in every area of your life through God's living waters. This revitalizing 3-message series can be yours on CD or DVD when you visit our website or call 1-800-591-8480 today.
We're back. This is On Point, #1 Saturday morning Christian-based call-in talk show in America, live on any smart device at David G. Evans 1. So glad you could join us today. Give us a call, 1-866-743-8267, 1-866-743-8267. Just got finished talking to Lottie, getting ready to go on with Danny from Fort Lauderdale. I am confused, Pastor Nick.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think people understand the inconvenience of safety.
Mm-hmm.
So you have this condition that's killing people. And just like we said on this program, it won't be long before thousands are protesting the stay-at-home order. These has to be people who either haven't gotten sick yet or haven't had a loved one die. There's this inconvenience of safety that America is offended by. So are they saying, I want my right to go out and catch this thing and die?
Yes. I need to be free. America's a place of freedom. I should be able to do what I want to do.
And die in the process.
Right. And I get you have to go out and work. You got to feed your kids.
But those are necessities.
But if you can't work, if you're dead or you're sick.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah. And the government, because of the situation, should do more to help the people on unemployment. But in a capitalistic society, you know.
So what is this group that every time something happens, the benefit of the country is secondary to your personal desire to do a thing?
Yeah. And so you have the right to get infected. Then you also have the right to get me infected too.
Right.
Which is a problem there. Now, if what you was going to hurt you by yourself, and you want to go do it, do your thing. But when you directly affect a whole bunch of other people.
But America has this problem. We do not care until it lands in our laps.
Yep. And a couple.
When it affects not you now, but when it hits me, then we've got a problem.
And some of them protesters got sick, and I think 2 or 3 died.
Okay.
Because they were out there, no mask on.
Okay.
You know, and just.
Well, what are the people? I mean, there are people around us that actually said that this was all a hoax. Human beings that we relate to on a weekly basis said this thing was a hoax.
Yep.
But once people start dying, does that change what they say?
Oh, no, they still believe, well, it's out there. It's not as big as what they say it is. They use that whole, it's only 1% die.
It doesn't have any significance until it happens to them.
Because you could be a part of the 1%.
There's an inconvenience in safety. I remember I told this one a while ago. I'm in the airport, lines long, and this woman is protesting security.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm standing right behind her, older lady. You know, I'm standing there, and I'm a patient guy. So finally, she said something that really got my attention. She asked the security person, do I look like a terrorist? And for some reason, that set me off. Yeah. I was quiet. I wasn't loud. I said, ma'am, that's the whole point.
Right.
She turned and looked at me. I said, the fact is you don't look like one, so you could be one.
Exactly. There you go.
So she's like,
yeah,
this is so inconvenient. I said, what's really inconvenient is us not landing.
There you go.
That's what inconveniences me.
Right. Shut up and go through the line.
I said, no, I need you to be quiet.
Jeez.
So the rest of us can get through the line.
Right.
She shut up, but it was just so ridiculous. Yeah, she's offended because, you know, do I look like a terrorist? That's the whole point.
That's the whole point. And you know, the who said that? The World Health Organization said it's going to last longer in America because Americans are too selfish.
Absolutely.
Italy, for the most part, shut down for a month. Their folks stayed in their house.
Yep.
Went and got groceries. That's it. Came back in.
Yep.
In a month, everything started to kind of go
started dying away.
Now they're back to opening up again. America.
Was it Sweden and Norway? One of those had they closed down because they had one death.
Yeah.
And they're back open again.
New Zealand, before it really ever got there, started shutting stuff down. I think 1 or 2 people got it.
Yeah.
And they've only had maybe 12,000 people get sick. Maybe 1 or 2 died. And it's because they started early.
Yep. I got friends. I just heard from my friends there. And they're like, we're praying for you guys over there.
Do you know that some wealthy people that live in Silicon Valley have houses in New Zealand?
Absolutely.
And when this thing broke out,
I
flew to New
know
Zealand.
they're right.
They have these shacks over there, these bunkers, and they flew over there, and they've been over there the whole time.
I know it's right.
When you got money, you got some
I've
options.
been there, Doc. You got options when you have money.
Yeah.
I've been in New Zealand, Doc. They're in the middle of the ocean. Only way you can get there is somebody brings it in. They're out in the middle of the ocean. And when I say the middle, I mean way out there in the middle of the ocean. It's flying into that place is a revelation.
Right. And I believe it.
I'm like, why, God, did you put that there?
Right. Shoot. Somebody sent me that. I said, if I had money and I wasn't called to preach, my behind be right in New Zealand in my little house.
Australia's way out there.
Shoot.
New Zealand's further.
Yep.
Australians, they call it outback in Australia. I don't know what you call it in New Zealand because they out further.
Right.
Shoot. Man,
preached
in both places, Doc. When I tell you they're different, from here, way different.
Yeah. I love to see it. It's nice, man.
Man.
Because I think that's where they tape Lord of the Rings.
A walk in the drugstore would blow your mind. Stuff that we have to get prescriptions for, on the shelf.
Yeah, right there,
Stuff we can't get, on the shelf. Second time I went, I took a bag.
You got a bunch of stuff.
I took a bag for stuff. Refill, stuff to give away.
Yeah.
Oh, man, it was... I put some stuff on my knees. Next day, it was fine.
Yeah.
It was just,
I heard it's so nice. I think they taped Lord of the Rings in New
Zealand.
Yeah,
in New Zealand, man.
Yeah, man. I was watching it last night. It's beautiful, man.
There's no predators in New Zealand.
Okay.
There's no predatory animals in New Zealand. So there's no wolves.
Okay.
Nothing that's going to kill things.
They got the snakes, or that's Australia?
Australia has that.
Okay.
Australia has snakes. Well, Australia has 4 or 5 of the top most deadliest animals in the world are in Australia.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's terrible. You know, they had a great white shark killing the day before we got there.
Really?
And they were showing it. And it was similar to the thing in Jaws, where the kid was water skiing, and the shark came up behind, snatched him off the skis, and took real life.
Man, my behind be sitting right on that beach.
Real life.
In that water. No.
I asked the question. I said, now, you guys got great whites and you guys are surfing. He said, where are you from? I said, United States. He said, you have stray dogs in the United States? I said, yeah. He said, well, those are our stray dogs. I said, but the dog's not dragging me off.
The dog can't swallow me whole.
Come on, man. But the day before we got there, a kid was skiing, and the people, they tried to speed the boat up, and took him half the ski.
Yeah. Wow.
Gone, and never saw him again.
Jeez.
It was amazing.
That's crazy. But I will say, I just read yesterday, Australia, because of the pandemic, the coral reef that's been breaking down, they're actually replanting a bunch of corals in there during this time. So they're giving them a nature a chance to kind of get some recovery. And y'all see the animals are coming on land, coming out more now because of the pandemic. The rats are eating each other in New York City because people aren't dropping food like they used to.
Yeah, I know.
They're like squirrels and cows walking through neighborhoods now.
Yeah, man.
Because everybody's in the house.
Yeah,
they're cleaner because not made cars.
It actually feels like that the wilderness is being reclaimed to them.
Yes. Something's being in nature's getting a little recovery.
Well, they're smart enough to know these people are not coming out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw deer in the front yard the other day, and they pulled up, and he like,
what's up?
all 3 of them was like, what you doing here?
Right, like, you good?
I'm like, yo, it was a whole family.
Yeah, man.
Pop, mom, and I'm like, yo, you guys gonna move?
Yeah, man.
Let's go to Danny, man. Hey, Danny, how you doing, man?
Good morning, Bishop. How you doing, Pastor Nick?
Hey, man.
How y'all doing today?
Doing all right. What's happening down there in Fort Lauderdale?
It's hot.
You hot already?
Extreme. Yes. We've been hitting 97, 95.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Wonderful weather. Wonderful weather.
In the 80s at night.
Wonderful weather.
Walk outside and start sweating.
Wonderful weather.
Yeah.
Just wonderful. Yes. It ought to burn off some of this stuff down there.
Well, that's part of what I wanted to talk about, and you have to be careful as to who you listen to
Mm-hmm.
and what's going on and things that are said. And I was thinking, and I looked back, and I was thinking about what happened to with Israel, where they wanted a king.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to be careful what you wish for,
Yeah.
because we had a president who set an example.
Yeah.
But they wanted a king, so that's what God gave us. And then we found out that the king in the court, they have people that they call jesters.
Mm-hmm.
They really don't know what they're doing or what, but it's all for entertainment purposes.
Right.
And we got a bunch of jesters that are suggesting things that really are not true, and they don't make any sense.
Yeah.
And this past week, if we cannot see what's going on, I mean, what is it going to take for it to open our eyes? And you had people that literally took that advice, and they ended up in the hospital.
Yeah, I know.
You know, and that's the sad part.
Yeah.
And the next thing is that in order to get information, you need stats to go along with it.
Right.
And everyone does not have a car to drive up to be tested. And a lot of people ride the bus, public transportation, and what have you. Those are the people that are left out. And what I said a long time ago was that the disease was here long ago, but they didn't want to admit it because they didn't want to shut things down, because you were going into New Year's, you was going into the Super Bowl, and all these other things.
Yeah.
Now they're saying that it's okay to go out into the public again. I don't think so. I don't think so.
I'm kind of wondering, and this may sound a little conspiratorial, and I'm prefacing my remark with that, Danny. I'm wondering who's making money on this pandemic.
Exactly.
Okay, Pastor Nick.
So there's a business owner in Georgia that wrote this thing. So Georgia's trying to open up.
Right.
And it's funny how the president threw the guy under the bus. You saw that, right?
No, I didn't see that.
So Kemp says we want to open everything back up.
Okay.
Trump praises him one day.
Okay.
Trump gets some heat and comes back and says the governor of Georgia is being irresponsible for trying to open everything back up.
After he was urging everybody to open up?
There you go. So this is what a business owner in Georgia said.
Some stuff you can't defend that this guy does.
You can't. He flip-flops too much.
Okay.
So this guy...
But Kellyanne told us we can't take him literally.
Right. Yeah.
You can't really depend on what he says to you. How do you work with somebody like that?
Right. That you can't trust. But this is what this guy...
What did it say? Wait a minute.
This is what this guy said. Since you own business, he said, it's not a stupid move on Kemp's part. On the contrary, it's calculated. Here's the deal. Kemp mandates restaurants reopen, whether I reopen dining rooms or not. I file for business interruption insurance. It does not go through since I'm allowed to operate full capacity. My landlord can demand all their money since I'm allowed to fully operate. Furloughed staff that is collecting unemployment insurance have to come back to work or I have to let them go. Their unemployment insurance then goes on my tab. If things blow up again, they're still on my tab and not on the state since they're no longer employed.
Wow.
Gus, this is about screwing the working class and small business, not about helping us. So they're reopening so the states won't have to have burden of unemployment.
Wow.
And these businesses are going to shut down.
Well, that makes sense because over 25 million people have applied.
Yes. And the states don't want to pay for it. They want to put it back on the businesses to pay for the unemployment.
But it's going to drive the businesses out of business.
Out of business.
And I'm back to my premise that the average American's idea of a small business is not $10 million a year in sales and 500 employees.
Right.
When the average American, I believe, this is my premise, somebody can dispute it if they want. Danny, I believe that if the average American, you ask them what a small business is, you're talking about 3, 4, 5 people, that if you're really doing it, you got 20, 25 employees. But you don't think small and 500 employees.
Yes.
All right, and so I don't believe this loan situation was ever designed to help small businesses. Because I believe that they believe that small businesses are like weeds in your front yard. If you pluck one up, another one's going to spring up in days. I don't believe, and the pure fact that the money was gone before the real small business could get a hold of it tells me it was never designed for small business.
Right.
What we perceive as small. Because how did certain companies get $20 million,
Mm-hmm.
$10 million.
Yep.
How did they do it?
Yep. And now they're quote unquote. Well, Shake Shack is giving their money back.
I guess they are.
Chris is. And a
But
few
they could
others.
get it. See, that's the problem.
That's the problem. They can get it. Harvard has a $6 billion endowment.
No, they didn't.
They got money.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did. Harvard got. Now they're claiming they're going to use that to help students.
Help them do what?
But you got a $1 billion plus endowment, and you applied for a $10 million loan.
Oh, no comp. Some of my capitalist friends have no conscience.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing here in Florida, the governor this week, went on national TV and told them that the curve has flattened. Not true.
Of course, it's not true.
It's growing.
Now, we normally try to steer clear of this stuff, but we got to step into it. Why is it that the nail salons, the hair salons, and those types of things that are prominent in minority neighborhoods are the first thing they want to open up?
Because they want to close them. They want to push them out of business.
They gonna take over. They finding a way to do this, man.
One of my staff members said because they want to close those businesses so they can take over.
Yes.
They probably the bottom properties in the hood. Change them up.
Because you got, and I know where I traditionally have gone to get my hair cut. Asians have dominated the marketplace on beauty supplies for ethnic communities, nails, the stuff that ethnic communities do regularly.
Yep.
Is being owned by people that are not of that ethnicity.
Yep. Yep.
So it's our people that listen to us, Christians, need to understand things do not happen in this culture by accident.
Nope.
Yes.
If you follow the money, you can usually find the cause.
Yep.
But now what Ruth Chris did was evil. But I sure admired their ingenuity.
Oh yeah. Oh look, I'll give it to them.
Man,
I'll give it to them.
they split their business so they could get two $10 million loans. It was amazing.
I'll give it to them.
It was
and the same thing applies to the farmers, where they have each individual in the family apply.
Yep.
And
the farmer bailout.
And the farmers got money. Everybody in the family got money.
Everybody.
It's amazing.
But we have in Florida where people have not been able to file for unemployment because the system is not allowing them to. My question is, do we have the money to give to them? Is that the reason why the system is not working?
I think they've decided, and I could be totally out of school. The deficit was okay when it was built by tax cuts and cutting programs and those types of things. More weapons, that kind of stuff. But the deficit's not okay if you're helping people. So now they're finding a way to reverse all this. People got on unemployment, thought they were going to get all these checks. They got one check, and just like some people I know, some people have never had a $1,200, $1,300 check, $1,500, $2,500 at one time. They think they're wealthy. They think that money's going to last a year.
Nope.
It's not. It's not a bottomless well.
Nope.
It's $2,500.
Yep.
If you work that out, it's $225 a month for a year.
Yeah. And that ain't going to get you nowhere.
That's not going to take you anywhere.
Nowhere. As much as groceries cost now,
man,
and they're hiking these prices.
Come on, man.
Look.
I wish there was some grocery stocks.
Who you telling?
Woo.
Man.
Woo.
It showed me I love capitalism, but there are flaws to it. This is why I get in arguments with people out on the side.
There are.
Other countries are giving away masks to people for free.
Not us. We're selling them.
We try to figure out how much money we can make.
Selling them.
They're paying their people every week, saying you don't have to pay your rent, your mortgage, we'll hold it off.
Not here.
Not here. It's all about the dollars. And people think, well, it's capitalism. It's not the greatest system in the world, y'all. It's good, but it's flawed.
Yep.
Like, come on, y'all. But again, until it affects them.
Absolutely. But I'm finding there's people that I saw 4 kids riding around in a car yesterday, just having a great time. No masks on, nothing.
Yeah.
All jammed up in the car. Young people are not thinking past what they want to do at the moment.
No, not at all.
Not doing it. You know what? And what they're saying is, well, I was around them, but they don't have it. How do you know? And if one of them does, do you want to take it back home to where you live?
Everybody
They're
else.
not thinking about this stuff.
They're not.
Because right now it's all me. Yep. Well, Danny, how's my sister doing?
She's doing great, Bishop. Thank you for asking.
Please tell her I asked for her, man.
We'll do.
Love y'all. Y'all stay safe now.
Hey, we appreciate all the things that y'all doing during the week that keep us going. I really appreciate it.
Trying hard, man. We trying hard.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Uncle Nick is working me like a slave up here.
And Crimes Against Heaven is playing tomorrow at 4.
Crimes Against Heaven is playing?
Tomorrow at 4 p.m.
Wow.
Crimes Against Heaven.
Okay.
The stage play at the Plaza.
Yes.
Crimes Against Heaven playing tomorrow. You'll love it.
Yep. 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock.
God bless you.
All right, man.
Take care.
Well, that was fast.
Yeah, it was.
So you can join us tomorrow online. Service is at 8, 9. Then we'll be live at 10. Discussion with me and Pastor Nick, or Pastor Nick and I. And then service again at 11 and 12. That's tomorrow, Sunday, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Binge watch us all morning long.
Yep.
Want you to subscribe to David G. Evans and BBC of NJ on YouTube. David G. Evans 1, BBC of NJ on YouTube. Join the tribe. Come on, join the tribe. We need you so we can keep encouraging. Well, stay strong, stay saved, and remember, faith acts like a thing is so, even when it's not so, that it might be so. For Pastor Nick, I'm Bishop Dave G. Evans. This has been On Point. See you next week.